Hi, welcome back to my channel. You're either here to find out some answers because you have someone in your life that has endometriosis, or you have it yourself and you just don't know how to communicate to your family, friends and loved ones what you're going through. If you want to go with me on a journey to figure that out, keep watching. If you can hear my dog sniffing, it's because he's there scratching the rug, so I can only apologize. So yeah, let's get to it. So the 4 tips that I've got that I felt was quite useful for me and when myself and my family, when I first was diagnosed, I was very young at the time, but I think there's a lot of cases where you might have just only found out you've got kids and you've been struggling with this for the longest of times. You might be very young. You might be watching this thinking, what do I do? How do I explain this to my family? If I'm feeling this way, how am I going to be perceived, and how do I deal with that? And if you're on the receiving end of someone that has endometriosis and you don't know what to do, which is probably why you've clicked on this video, I can only imagine how that must be for you. The first thing that I would say is communication. Now, as cliche as that may sound, because you're thinking, well, of course, you know, talking about it is what I would want to do, but not everybody that's in this situation wants to talk. They don't want to talk about their feelings. They don't want to talk about the pain that they go through all the time. They don't even want to highlight the fact that they have it. I was like that. I was in denial for a while, and up until probably this year, there's probably many family members of mine who's either watched the video that I posted previously about my journey and my story, didn't know I had it in the first place. I just didn't talk about it. So what do you do? What do you do in situations like that? For me personally, I think it's ideal just to have that understanding that if you can kind of see that they don't want to talk about it, and what I mean by see, sometimes it can be quite withdrawn. If you ask, are you doing okay? Is there anything you need? And they get ratty with you, more or less half the time they just want to cuddle. If they're not a tactile person, you know, your friend, family member, colleague, if you can see that they're struggling with something, more or less they just want someone just to comfort them with, whether it be a cup of tea, you offer them a hot drink, or anything at all would be the best way to break the ice with regards to that situation. And communication doesn't necessarily have to be verbal. It could be body language, and you showing back that you're like, oh, okay, what's going on there? And then you get funny. It creates tension. It creates an energy that neither of you are at fault for. It's just that it just wasn't identified. And then you're in a situation that you have to explain that to. The second one is patience. Back when I was going through I suppose the journey to kind of find out what was wrong with me, I was because I was anxious about stuff, I found that I was quite, I don't even know the word for it at this particular time, but pain in the ass rings a bell, right? So if you think about it in that time when you're dealing with any situation that you're going through, and half the time the response I used to get as a kid was, oh, you're on your period, oh, you're being moody, oh. So I'm just like, yeah, that's the response that most women get, right? So I guess if you're going to be that way with somebody, then the response you get is not always going to be nice. So all I can suggest is having the patience to understand that you don't know what they're going through. You don't understand that. And that's the third tip, but I'll get to that shortly. You don't necessarily know what they're feeling, the pain that they're going through, the sleepless nights they've had, the amount of times they've been in that toilet. It can be really difficult for a woman, a young woman. It doesn't really make a difference of what age of that woman is. If they've got this condition, it takes over every part of their life. And there are things which are not spoken about. And I find that when you're in a relationship with somebody and they tell you, I was very afraid when I was with anyone I was dating. I didn't really want to explain, oh, you know, sexual intercourse would be hard for me, because that can be quite painful for anyone that's got endometriosis. I may not be able to have children, kind of topic might have to come up. There's so many things which I just don't know how anyone does it. So, and I'm still learning, very much so. But I'm at that comfortable medium where I can advise and I can suggest, and me and my partner are very much in that space where he can kind of see that I need him, and if I need my own space, he'll give that to me too. So, third one, understanding. Understanding can be many things. You can say, oh, I understand how you feel. That's a trigger, because no, you don't always know. But sometimes that can be helpful for some people. But just having that research, go online, you know, just kind of like you've gone online to come here to see how to help somebody, but to have the information in front of you. There's books out there, there's seminars that you can go to together. There's many things which can contribute to your understanding of what that person's going through. Push that aside. The best person to actually tell you how they are is the person in front of you, not me, your family member, and your friend or your colleague, whoever you've come here for today. And those that have endometriosis, if you need a better understanding, those seminars and that research is for you as well, because I wouldn't be where I am today if I hadn't have done that, because it's not always easy to assume that that's what's going to happen. Like the endometriosis diet, I'm going to do a separate video on that, but there are many things in there which actually isn't helpful and can be quite damaging too. So it's very conflicting. There's a lot of things out there on the internet which isn't very helpful. And yeah, I know from firsthand. The fourth and final tip is love. And as cliche as that sounds also, it's been the best thing by far. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to serenade that person with all the love in the world. They may want that. What I mean by love is just giving them that feeling that it doesn't matter what they have. It doesn't matter that they're poorly with a condition. And this is across the board. Once you have that, once you can say to someone, it doesn't matter what you've got, I love you anyway, that will just melt away this hard exterior around them, because that's the most thing they want. I didn't feel like I'd be accepted, to be honest with you. I thought I would be a hindrance. I thought I'd be difficult to be around, and this is every single month. Can you imagine? So, but that's all I suggest, you know, and they all link with each other. Every single one of the tips that I've said, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be in a handbook, but it's just what naturally human instinct of what you think you should do, but doesn't really know how to address it. I'm going to finish off this video by saying that whatever you're doing, for you to search for advice and then find this video, you know, you're on the right path. You're doing the best you can for yourself and your loved ones. So keep trying, keep going, and know you're not alone with this at all. Definitely not. And there's a huge community out there hidden away. Even me, I didn't even know there was so much out there, so much support. It's not spoken about on social media as much as it should be. And I'm hoping that day it will change and it'll be everywhere. But up until then, just know, just keep doing what you're doing. And yeah, so I'm going to be doing more content, as I said before, but in the meantime, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, make sure you click the bell so you get any notifications of new content that's coming up, and I'll see you very soon.